Hey guys, Redken artist here, John Barnes, and I want to come to you guys today and let's have some discussion about Shades of Q gloss, especially when we're using Shades of Q gloss with the addition of Crystal Clear. So I don't know about you guys, sometimes it can get a little confusing whenever I'm thinking about diluting. And I put our dilution guidelines back here so we can take a look at as we go. Back in the day, I had this mindset of if I diluted my shade down halfway, it would be half as light. And now I know that that's not the case, right? So whenever we dilute a shade, we're lessening the deposit and depth and tone. So I'm not making a new shade, a 9's not making a 10, but I'm diluting the tone and depth of that 9 depending on which way I want to go. So I wanted to show us here, we'd do a little experiment and let's take a look at it together. So I've got my lovely model here and I'm going to move her up really close so we can see. This was my swatch that I started off with. We can see if we take a look at this guy, it is pale yellow up to level 910. That was our starting point. And then I took 09V in equal parts with processing solution and glossed this. And this is where I started with. So if I am diluting my 09V, depending on, like we said in our dilution guidelines, minimally, moderately, or max, it's going to give me something a little different as we go. I'll share the story with you guys. I was in a salon the other day and overheard two salon professionals talking about, oh, I'm out of a 010 in my shade. And the other stylist said, oh, that's okay. Just mix a level 9 and use some clear in there. That'll make a new shade. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's talk about this, guys. So we had a great discussion and some couple aha moments of what clear really does. Back in the day, before we had the option of our lovely level 10 series in our shades, our level 9s was the lightest that we could go. And if we wanted something different, we did have to use clear, or we do use clear, to change the intensity of deposit or the depth at that level to something different. And that's what I want to show us today. So our first example is our 09V diluted down very, very minimally. And you can take a look at both of these swatches and see there's not a whole lot of tonal difference between my starting point now to my other end result. Would you guys agree with that? So I can see that my minimally diluted 09V, I took a half of an ounce of crystal clear with an ounce and a half of my 09V and 2 ounces of my processing solution. I can still see that tone that I started with, but it's less intense. So I also got less deposit because I used crystal clear into my formula. Now let's take it one step further. Let's dilute it right in the middle of the road. So let's do equal parts of our crystal clear and then our 09V, and this is where we're starting at. So now I can start to see a bigger difference of what this swatch looks like from my starting point to now where my end result is, right? So this swatch, we took an ounce of crystal clear and then an ounce of our 09V, and it is dramatically less intense and vibrant as what my starting swatch was. Now let's take it one more step further and let's dilute it to the max, right? So this is where I took an ounce and a half of my crystal clear and then a half of an ounce of my shade, which was 09V, and I can see that huge tonal difference in that last swatch. Would you guys all agree with that? It's crazy. So I can see where I started at my 09V just with equal parts of processing solution, and then my minimally diluted 0.9V, my moderately diluted 0.9V, and then my to the max 0.9V. Now let's take this one step further. I want to show you guys what the tonal difference is of my 9 series versus my 10. So this is my 0.10VV, and you guys can see the tonal difference and the intensity of that deposit versus my 9 and 10. So if I have that mindset of, oh, I can just take a 0.9 and dilute it down halfway, I'm going to get a 10. And you guys can see that that's not really the case, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I always say we have to start somewhere. I had this mindset in the very beginning, and it's a lot, right? So if I'm using crystal clear in any of my formulas, whether it's my 9 series down, to my 3s, 4s, 2s, all that I'm doing is I'm lessening that tone or softening it, and I'm getting less deposit of that. So if we're looking for something like our 10 series, then we would need to reach for our level 10, 0.10VV in this case. And that's what we would go with. So I hope that this helped you guys. And if you guys have any questions, reach out to me on Instagram at Diet Like a Man. And I hope you guys have a rest of the great afternoon. I'll see you guys later.